It's like we're diving deep into Paradise Lost today.
Yeah, yeah.
Their albums in particular.
Right.
We've got this ranking here of the top 10 Paradise Lost albums.
Okay.
Obviously, it's all subjective. But,
Sure.
it's a good place for us to start
It is.
to kind of see what makes certain albums stand out for fans.
Yeah.
And what makes them so great.
Right off the bat, we've got Draconian Times at number 1.
Draconian Times.
The undisputed champion, it seems.
I mean, that was the album that got me into Paradise Lost.
Oh, wow.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
For sure.
Yeah. And it was a pretty pivotal album for Paradise Lost, I think.
Yeah.
The way they blended those melancholic melodies with those crushing riffs?
Right?
I mean, you think of tracks like Enchantment or The Last Time.
Yeah.
Just incredible songwriting.
Yeah, and they just resonated with so many fans and critics alike.
Yeah.
I always felt like the lyrics on Draconian Times were a little different, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a real depth of emotion there that I just wasn't getting from a lot of other metal bands
Yeah, I know what you mean.
at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Like a real sense of yearning
yes.
and despair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do with Nick Holmes's vocals.
Oh, yeah, his vocals are incredible.
They are, the way he delivers those lyrics, it's like he's just bearing his soul.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's raw, it's powerful.
Like-
and I think it's a big reason why the album has had such an impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving down the list,
Yeah,
we've got some more titans here.
they do.
Um,
Icon,
Icon.
Gothic,
Gothic.
The Plague Within.
Yeah, all considered cornerstones of Paradise Lost's discography, I think.
Yeah, and you can really see their evolution in
Yeah.
these albums. Like
Yes.
Gothic, for instance.
Groundbreaking in establishing the Gothic metal genre.
Yeah.
I mean, the use of orchestral elements and
Yeah.
those haunting operatic vocals,
Yeah.
really unique for the time.
Oh, yeah. Nobody was doing that.
Right.
And then you've got The Plague Within, which brought back
Yeah,
some of those death metal elements
it did.
he explored in their earlier work.
Wasn't that early stuff? Yeah.
But it wasn't just like a repeat
No.
of what they had already done.
It was so much darker
It was.
and more intricate.
yeah.
Flesh from Bone is a great example.
Yes, that's a,
Those guttural vocals,
Mhm.
the blast beats, the down-tuned guitars, just
Yeah.
this oppressive, heavy atmosphere.
Yeah, it was like a reminder
Yeah,
that they
And
could
then-
still bring that aggression,
they could.
even while experimenting with all these other sounds.
Sure.
In Requiem is
Yeah.
another one that gets a lot of praise.
Yes.
And rightfully so. I think
Really?
I remember hearing this one for the first time and being blown away
Oh, wow.
by just how epic it felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
The
melodies.
soaring melodies.
Yeah.
The intricate guitar work.
It really felt like a true evolution of their sound.
Yeah. In Requiem, to me, it felt like a culmination of everything they've been working towards.
Yeah,
It's an incredibly cohesive album,
it is.
each song flowing seamlessly into the next.
Right.
And the production on that album is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything's crystal clear. You can really appreciate the nuances of the musicianship.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
This ranking mentions Tragic Idol as being underrated.
hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Tragic Idol is interesting.
Yeah.
It's a more introspective record, maybe even more melancholic
Okay.
than some of their other albums. Lyrically, it's dealing with themes of isolation and mortality.
Yeah.
And musically, it's a bit more restrained.
I remember some fans felt like it was missing
Yeah.
a little bit of that
A
energy
little bit. Yeah.
from their earlier albums.
Yeah.
But I always appreciated it
Yeah.
because it was a little more contemplative.
Right. It demands your attention.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it a few times to really get it.
Yeah, it reveals itself slowly.
It does.
Then we come to Symbol of Life. And 1 second,
Yeah.
2 albums that seem to be a bit more divisive
They are.
among.
They represent a period of experimentation for Paradise Lost,
Okay.
where they started to bring in more electronic and industrial influences.
Yeah. I remember when Symbol of Life came out, it was a bit of a shock.
I bet.
The electronic elements,
Yep.
cleaner vocals.
Yeah.
It was a real departure
It was.
from what a lot of fans were used to.
For sure, and I can see why it divided some fans.
Yeah.
It was a bold move,
It was.
and it didn't always work.
Right.
But there are some really innovative moments on those albums.
Yeah.
1 Second in particular
Yeah.
has some incredible atmospheric tracks that showcase
Okay.
a different side to the band.
Yeah.
Um,
It's great to see Obsidian on the rise here.
yeah.
Predicted to eventually crack the top 10.
It seems like people are responding to this one.
They are.
Yeah. Obsidian feels like a return to form for Paradise Lost,
Okay.
but with a really modern edge.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that gothic atmosphere with those dark, brooding melodies.
Yeah.
Nick Holmes' vocals are as powerful as ever.
Yeah.
Really strong record.
The ranking also includes these sections
Yeah.
for newcomers and contenders,
Right.
which is where things get really interesting.
They do?
You've got Faith Divides Us, Death Unites Us,
Yes.
which is a newer release
It is.
that seems to be making waves.
Yeah, it's a powerful record.
It is.
Very much in the vein of Gothic Doom,
Okay.
but with a real sense of urgency to it.
Mm.
It deals with some heavy themes,
Yeah.
mortality, disillusionment,
Right.
but in a way that feels both personal and universal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
And then you've got Medusa and Believe in Nothing
Yes.
with question marks next to them, which suggests there's a little debate
A little bit, yeah.
about their placement.
Medusa and Believe in Nothing tend to be
Yeah.
a bit more divisive among fans.
Right.
Medusa is a very stripped down,
Mm-hmm.
raw doom metal album.
Okay.
Very heavy, atmospheric.
Yeah.
But it does lack some of those melodic elements
Yeah.
that characterize some of their other work.
Yeah, for sure.
And Believe in Nothing, on the other hand,
Yeah.
leans more towards a gothic rock sound.
Yeah.
Wait.
I can imagine didn't sit well
Yeah.
with some longtime fans.
It's definitely their most experimental record.
It is.
And it divided opinion when it came out.
Yeah.
Some fans appreciated the band's willingness to push boundaries,
Sure.
whereas others felt it was maybe a step too far.
Yeah. It's interesting to see those earlier albums,
Yeah.
like Lost Paradise,
Yeah.
Shades of God, and Host,
Yeah.
still being discussed and debated.
They're all part of the story.
Yeah.
Each one represents a specific moment in their evolution,
Right.
a snapshot of where they were at that time.
Yeah. Looking back at this list,
Yeah.
what stands out to you the most?
I think it's remarkable how Paradise Lost has consistently evolved over the years,
Yeah.
but always stayed true to their core identity.
They have.
They've never been afraid to experiment,
No.
to push the boundaries of their sound.
Right.
And, that's what makes them so compelling.
Yeah, it's why we're still talking about them
Exactly.
all these years later.
It is.
So as you continue to explore Paradise Lost's music,
Yeah.
here's a thought-provoking question for you.
Okay.
Which album not on this list
Okay.
would you add to your personal top 10
Mm.
and why?
That's a good question.
It is.
I have to think about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've reached the end of our Paradise Lost deep dive.
We have.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you next time.
See